An opera singer takes on Timex in its commercial, and the opera singer loses. The watch keeps on ticking. We're going to challenge that commercial right here on... We have been challenging Timex commercials for 15 years here on Fight Back. We have frozen them, dropped them from helicopters, blown them up, and even shot at them with guns. But one thing we have never tried is to sing to one.
Timex, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Are they kidding? Now, of course, we know that Timex can't be serious. It's just a clever commercial to remind you of their famous motto, Timex takes a licking but keeps on ticking. But kidding or not, we still wanted to challenge this commercial. All we needed was someone with an operatic voice who was willing to sing to a watch. Sing to a watch? Now, where would we find someone who would do something like that? Right out on the street.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I remember you. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, folks, but the watch is still ticking. I think it's time for a professional singer. We are at the world-famous La Cajafo nightclub in Los Angeles, and with us we have a very special person, actress and singer Lisa Donovan, who is just back from a road trip with Donald O'Connor. She might look familiar because Lisa has done many television shows and over 100 commercials. And she's here with us to challenge Timex. Lisa, why don't you come on? Lisa Donovan. Good to see you, Lisa. Now, Lisa, I have to ask you this question. Have you ever done anything so ridiculous as try to sing a note and break the crystal and stop a watch from running?
Well, in my 100 commercials, never in my professional career, let's put it that way.
Well, Lisa, today, this is going to be a major first in your career. I have the Lady Timex watch here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the watch up, and I'm going to have you hit a high note and see if we can shatter the Timex claim. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you tense?
I'm tense.
Are you warmed up?
Me.
Okay, you. Let's go.
We. Me. Oh! How do we do?
It's still there, Lisa. Shall we try it again?
May I? I'd like to.
It is still intact, and it's still ticking. It's still ticking. Now, we know there are some people who they say looking at a watch will break a watch.
Yes.
But this is with a sound. Let's try it again.
Right.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, You. Oh!
Makes me shake, but the Timex is still ticking. One more time.
All right.
Should we give it one more time? Okay, one more time.
Yeah.
Is that for me or the watch, Lisa?
We'll work on the voice first, and then the watch.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Me, ah, oh. Well,
Lisa, it is still ticking.
It is.
It is still ticking, folks. The Timex went through a range, almost an operatic range, and the watch continues to go on. Time passes on. Lisa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We didn't stop the watch.
What can we do?
What can we do? We're going to call on Memorex, experts in breaking objects with sound. They brought their glass-shattering equipment from their lab in Dallas, Texas, just for our challenge. Memorex takes on Timex right after this break. We're challenging the Timex commercial. It shows an opera singer trying to stop a Timex watch from ticking with a high note. She couldn't do it. So we brought in our own singer, Lisa Donovan. She hit a high note, but it was obvious that we needed a professional glass breaker. And we have the experts in glass breaking, Memorex, with us to show us how it's done. Rick Needham came from Dallas, Texas, to help us with this challenge. Rick, how do we do it?
All we need to do is get a recording of Lisa's voice on a tape.
Now, you want us to use a Memorex tape, right?
Of course.
Okay. We have Rick. We have the Memorex tape. We have Lisa. Lisa, are you ready to hit a high note?
I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, here's the mic. Go to it.
All right.
Very good. Rick, you have the high note.
That's all we need, David.
All right, you're going to show us how it's done now.
Now we can show you how to break the glass.
All right, but Lisa and I are out of here. Rick, absolutely amazing. And Lisa, you hit an absolutely perfect note. We shattered the glass. But the question now, Rick, is can we shatter the Timex?
Well, David, we took this watch into our lab and we did mathematical calculations and a lot of testing. We burned up 2 of our speakers trying to shatter this thing. It actually resonates at about 16,000 hertz, and that's extremely high. But we'll give it the old Memorex try.
Now, for those of us who don't know, what is 16,000 hertz?
Your dogs may hear that sound. It's
All right.
very high.
So the thing is now, when we do this, we might bring every dog in the neighborhood here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it, Rick. There is tension in the air. Remember, this sound is at 16,000 hertz. It is so high that it cannot be heard by human ears. If this doesn't do it, nothing will.
Well, that was it, David. We used all the power that we had, and I don't think that Timex crystal is cracked.
I don't know how to say this, Lisa, Rick, but this thing has taken such a licking, and it keeps on ticking. But we're not finished with Timex yet. This 25-ton crane is going to help us to see if Timex will keep on ticking after a 3,600-pound steel wrecking ball drops on it. But that's later in the show. Now it's time to talk about something very serious. I'm sorry to report that for every scam that the police manage to break up, a new one just comes and takes its place. It's like crabgrass. You pull it out in the backyard and it comes back in the front yard. And this scam can affect everyone who owns a telephone. Fraud investigators call it the bail scam. Here's how it works. A person calls you on the phone claiming that a friend or relative of yours is in jail and needs money for bail. Of course, you're concerned and you want to help, right? Well, the caller then arranges to pick up the cash and disappears. Listen carefully to this pitch as reenacted by a member of the Los Angeles Police Department. It may help you from being the next victim.
Hello, Mr. Johnson. My name's Sam. I'm a friend of Jerry's. Jerry's in the police station. He's in jail. Yeah, they booked him on some tickets, and he can't talk very well because the police were listening on the phone. But he wanted me to call and tell you that he needs about $225 for bail on the tickets. Do you have that money there? Okay, I'll tell you what. He wanted me to come by and pick up the money, and then I'll bring it down here and I'll bail him out, and I'll do everything for you. Don't worry, just have the money ready when I get there. What's your address?
The caller may pose as a lawyer, bail bondsman, a friend of the person who's supposedly in jail, or the person who's been arrested.
Frequently they will send someone over and say, I'm sending Richard over to pick up the $60, and he's my best friend, and a relative may say, well, I'll bring it myself. No, you don't have to do that. I'll come and somebody will come and get it. They do, and they hand over the $60, the $180, or the $300, or $400, whatever it is, and they're gone. And that's it.
It's a convincing pitch, but it didn't fool 91-year-old Venier Luke Corporal.
He said Cheryl was in jail, and I asked for what? And he said he had gotten a ticket. And it just, something struck me funny about the call, even before he was a judge. I've never known him to be in jail for anything. And I called the office, and they said he's on the bench. Would you like, is it necessary? I said, well, yes, it is. And I said, well, as long as he's on the bench, it's all right. I said, you be sure he's on the bench now? And they said, yes, he is. So I said, well, I'll call him a little later. And that was that.
If you get a call saying a relative or a friend is in jail and wants you to post bail, stay cool and check it out. Find out where the person is being held, then call the police station or jail, ask for booking information, and verify that the person you're looking for is actually in custody. Then, if you want to bail that person out, take the money yourself or arrange for bail through a reputable, established bail bondsman. Never give the money to a stranger. According to my Lady Timex watch that is still ticking, it says we have a few minutes left before we drop that 3,600-pound steel ball on it to see if it will take a pounding and keep on sounding. But first, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it isn't. It's our consumer horror file, loaded with mail from you, our viewers, telling us things that we ought to be told in an effort to try to correct some signs, confusing and amusing labels. And our first letter comes from Preston Whiteholter, who lives in Cudahy, Wisconsin. He writes, I'm 10 years old and feel that inflation is hurting. Take a look at the menu from Mama Angie's Italian Deli in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Isn't $150 a little expensive for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? You're right, Preston, it is a little expensive. But let's hope they really meant $1.50. How about this letter from Jack Durjan, who lives in Palm City, Florida? Jack writes, found this article for employment. Note that to be eligible for full-time night floor crew, a criminal history is required. Can't imagine that many places require you to be a criminal. I don't think this is what they meant, Jack, but to be sure, we called the sheriff's office in Palm City, Florida, and we were told that a person's criminal history is public information, and some companies do require it. But don't worry, if you don't happen to have a history of being a criminal, the sheriff's office will be glad to give you a certificate that says just that. No criminal history. You know, I think it is just a confusing choice of words. But that's why we're here, to clear up things like that. And if we use your letter that tells us about confusing, amusing labels, ads, and signs, we'll send you a Fight Back t-shirt and a copy of my book, The Business of Business. And there goes our horror file, off into the sky, looking for more confusing and amusing labels, ads, and signs. By the way, have you ever seen a commercial on TV that bothered you? Like showing a person who didn't buckle up when they got into their car, or some other demonstration that looked like they were encouraging bad habits? This next story is not the usual good guy, bad guy kind of story about TV advertising. In this case, the sponsor, Mitsubishi Motor Sales of America, was guilty of nothing worse than an oversight in its national advertising for the Mighty Max pickup truck. But even so, that oversight was serious enough for a concerned lawmaker to take action. In 1987, Assemblyman O'Connell authored a bill requiring that animals carried in open trucks be securely tethered, both for their own safety and the safety of other motorists.
It was suggested to me by local law enforcement that because of the number of accidents that had been occurring here in our community as a result of unleashed or animals that were not cross-tethered jumping from the back of the pickup truck and causing other accidents, animals being bounced around freely, animals that might see another dog or even another person in one case, and the animal simply leaping from the back of the truck and causing harm to the other motorists.
Naturally, when O'Connell saw that dog jumping from one truck to another in the Mitsubishi commercial, he was concerned.
I was sitting home watching television one evening with my family, and I happened to see this dog jumping from the back of one pickup truck into a Mitsubishi truck, and the next day I sent a letter to the corporate headquarters of Mitsubishi pointing out the California law and stating the reasons for that law.
In less than 2 weeks, O'Connell has his answer from Mitsubishi. The company's director of advertising wrote, "We share your concern for the welfare of animals transported in the cargo area of pickups, and we in no way intended to encourage an improper method of transporting animals." Mitsubishi said that henceforth, its Mighty Max commercials would include this disclaimer on the screen: cross-tether animals in moving pickups.
I think this is an excellent example of corporate responsibility. It's not often that you're able to influence corporate America or Madison Avenue, the folks who devise these telegenic commercials through the airwaves, and to be able to have influence in this area, I was obviously quite pleased.
You're probably saying, "David, is this a big deal?" It is if you like animals. Humane groups say that as many as 100,000 dogs are killed each year riding on the back of pickups involved in traffic accidents. I supported Assemblyman O'Connell's animal safety bill when it was first introduced in California, and I'm glad to see that it is being taken seriously. I'm also pleased that Mitsubishi acted so promptly in response to the legislators' complaint. At the top of the show, we challenged a Timex commercial. It shows an opera singer trying to stop a Timex watch with a high note. She failed. We brought in singer Lisa Donovan. But she also failed to stop time. We then asked Memorex, experts in breaking glass with sound, to help us. They cranked their equipment up to over 16,000 hertz, a very painful sound. And they couldn't crack the Timex crystal. Well, we've had enough of this fussing around. Let's get tough. On a past Fight Back show, we challenged the Cambro plastic plate. We dropped a 3,600-pound steel ball on it. It cracked. I've got my Lady Timex watch. It's ticking. Let's see what happens to it if we drop that same steel ball on it. Will it take a licking and keep on ticking? Let's see. Let's see what happens. The tension mounts. Too bad, Timex. It took a licking, but it isn't ticking. But wait just a minute now. We wanted to be absolutely sure, so we cleaned out the dirt and crushed crystal. And you're not going to believe this. After straightening out the second hand, which was jammed below the minute hand, the Timex watch started to tick again. Incredible. Timex, you did it to us again. You took a licking, and you still keep ticking. But watch out, because on a future Fight Back show, we're going to try to find some way to stop your clock. we're going to find some way to do you in. And you might ask why? Because frankly, Timex, you're beginning to tick me off. And I'm getting all wound up about this because it's time to close the show. And as I always say, you have to stay aware and informed and fight back. And don't let anyone rip you off. If you have something you'd like us to check out or a commercial you'd like challenged, send it to Fight Back, Burbank, California 91523. And if we use your letter on the show, we'll send you a Fight Back t-shirt and a copy of my book, The Business of Business.